So last week I took a week off from social media, as most of you know, completely. Facebook, Twitter, everything. Not a single message posted anywhere. We did have some circumstances that left us to take some time off, but it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, as it gave my kids and I some time to spend together. But on the other sense, it gave me some time to reevaluate my time spent with No Kid Hungry and my promoting my friend Nat Williams. And on the No Kid Hungry aspect, I want to kind of spend some time on that today because I think in the quest of trying to get the word out about the End Hunger Challenge, we may have forgotten why we were doing this. It's great to raise money. It's great to say that these interviews raise $100 each or 1,000 meals. But if we're forgetting to take care of the kids, or forgetting that they're the reason we started this, we've kind of lost heart of why we're doing it. You have to get back to the root of why we started it. There was a reason that I connected with the people with No Kid Hungry. There was a reason that they found me. So today, in honor of Easter, and kind of a restart and spring and starting over, I'm sitting down with my daughter Jade, and we've been talking about hunger and about schools and the school meals. And the reason being is that No Kid Hungry deals with ensuring that kids have breakfast in schools, have food. That's one of their big things. So Jade and I have been talking about the meals and about things she's noticed. And she's got a pretty good insight into some of the things she's seen. Jade, why don't you tell me about some of the things that you've noticed, like the portion sizes you talked about, and some of the things that you've noticed in your grade level as you moved up?
Um, like, for, like, us middle schoolers, like, we don't, I can't really say anything about my school, because in my school, like, they give us big portions, and then we get seconds for free, but in other public schools, like, when I was in my last school before I was taken out, like, I didn't get enough to eat, because we were given portions like the size for like kindergartners. And honestly, like, I'd sit there and I'd look at my food and I'd be like, this is a snack. This is not a meal, this is a snack. And then you'd eat it and you'd be full for like maybe 1 or 2 class hours, and then you'd go home and like I'd go home to you and I'd be like, Mom, I'm so hungry. And you'd be like, why didn't you eat lunch? I did eat lunch. Well, why are you still hungry? They didn't give you much to eat. Well, why didn't they give you much to eat? They never give you that much to eat. Well, that's a lie. No, it's not. They have to give you more than just that to eat. Well, maybe you should go back to school and see what they give you to eat.
What about breakfast? What about the breakfast in schools? When we would tell you go have breakfast in school because you have the option of eating in school, what are the things that you noticed there?
Not a lot of people have the time. You don't really have the time in the morning. Either your bus gets there too late, or if you do have the time, you don't really want to go down there.
And why don't you want to go down there?
Because you always feel like the poor kid. If you have to go down to eat breakfast, you always feel like the poor kid going down to eat breakfast. Because you can't afford to have breakfast at home. I mean, I didn't really have to worry about that, but I know a couple people that did have to worry about it, because I always ate breakfast at home. But
And what are some of the things you've seen in regards to kids not eating? Or, okay, so say they didn't eat because they felt like the poor kid. What are some things that you've noticed then in class? What are the effects that you've seen from that?
they don't focus in class. Like, I'll do the same thing if I don't eat breakfast. Sometimes I won't focus, or my stomach will growl, and that's all I'll focus on is, oh, I feel it coming on, and then I'll just focus on trying to hide it, and then, like, I won't focus on my work, or I'll get, like, really tired, and I'll start falling asleep from the lack of, like, energy and protein and stuff like that.
So if you could fix anything in regards, because think about it, kids spend 2 meals a day, 5 days a week in school. So if you could fix anything in regards to the school breakfasts and lunches, what would be something that we could work on to ensure that kids are fed proper and that kids are taken care of so that their education is the best that it could be?
Portion sizes.
Portion sizes?
Like, sometimes even, like, there's sometimes that preschoolers won't finish their food because there's a lot of it. But then there are times that I watch, like, preschoolers finish their food and ask for more and be told, oh, you can't have seconds because you don't have money in your account, or, oh, you can't have seconds because you're on a health plan.
Like a free plan, you mean?
Yeah.
What about the older kids?
It's the same situation. Like at Forest View, they would be like, I'd be sitting and I'd be hungry, and I'd hear them. They call, oh, there's 68 slices of pizza for anybody that wants seconds. And I'd be like, oh, I want seconds, but I know I can't have it
And why not?
because I was on the free plan. Therefore, you can't get seconds because you have to have a positive balance and you have to have actual money in your account to get seconds. But at MLAP, that's not the case. You get seconds for free, whether you're on the free plan or not, which is why I love our school. I never go hungry in that school. Breakfast, huge. Lunch, even bigger. Every school needs to be served a breakfast and a lunch like that school does.
What do you think of the...
My cafeteria lady for the breakfast one, because we got 2 different ones, and then they switch off between schools, but my breakfast one, she fights for our food. They don't want to send over food. They literally, the school district just wants to give us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day. She fights for our food. And I love her. Virgie is my school hero. If we did not have her, we would have nothing to eat in our school besides an Uncrustables, a tiny bag of carrots, and 1 thing of milk. And that's it for a lunch. And then for breakfast, it'd be dry cereal and a cheese stick. Because that's what the school district wants to send over. But she fights for our food. She doesn't think it's right. Because we're such a small group of kids.
So what do you think of the idea of making breakfast mandatory across the board for every school? They're trying to make it to where instead of making it optional to go down and get breakfast before school, breakfast is served as part of the day all across the nation.
I honestly think it should be. Like, even if you do it at home, you have to at least eat or drink something at school. Because everybody at least once falls asleep during the school year due to hunger. Or doesn't focus in school once, at least due to hunger. And it gets annoying. I've been in that situation plenty of times. Because then you have no idea what you're doing when you get home with your homework. And it's like, oh, I wish I would have been paying attention. But no, I was too busy paying attention to my stomach.
If you could tell anything you wanted respectfully to those listening, if you as a kid, your voice to be heard, to those who are fighting to make this issue known, to take care of hunger? What would you say to those of us that are working so hard to ensure that you and all the other kids have breakfast, lunch in schools? What would you want to say?
Keep fighting. Never give up. I honestly have to say, I'm gonna be Dory right now. Just keep swimming. If you give up your fight, you're gonna lose your battle, and you'll never get your point across. And if you don't get your point across, you'll never change the world. If you don't change the world, you won't help anybody. Keep fighting.
All right. There you go, from the words of a teenager. Happy Easter, everybody. That's one of the first of many interviews. We wish you a very happy day. We'll see you later.